There's no way to reason with hurricane season. That there's SUBNAUTICA station. Goop flounders around in there. Let's see. Says it's good to see you again. He's Goop. You might remember him from the old days when he tried to teach you how to swim. Goop says you were always so righteous as a child, and he can still feel it, even at a distance. Goop says memories fade surprisingly fast. We are all pieces of what we remember. It's only... He knows he's easy to remember. There's no one out there as cuckoo as him. He's one of a kind. He understands you've returned to face Lupa-Lupin. That's the destiny you've been carrying within yourself all... He says that the catastrophe back then didn't vanquish the good in you. It's... Now the time has come for you to remember and act. Your life is your life, not the story you're told about it. He understands why you seek revenge, but he doesn't think you realize how that'll make you feel once you claimed it.
Nothing shines like the dark. Oh, no, wait. Oh, well, you know...
You can't trust the dark.
Can you see how dark sets you free?
It's not too late for you, is it?
Hello, Darkness. That's me, your old friend.
Can hardly believe the world is going to make it. Wonders what that's going to do to the goo. Thanks you for doing everything you could to de-goop the surf. Thinks the Myriad made a good match with you. You're both like sunshine. But hey, back to the goo. Knows yesterday is already gone. It's what you do today and tomorrow that'll move you forward. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the SUBNAUTICA station, as the pollution has worn down the insulation of his suit. So you must salvage enough scrap to fix up his goo glide, starting with the old wreck box outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the goo glide strong enough to fight the Porky Puff. You're lucky that way. There's still cargo left on the shores from before the apocalypse. His best guess is a power tanker hit a reef and went under. You won't need a bath today. The stars never give enough light. Choke up that grip. Guess you still want more than that. Stand against that. Toxanol's offshore drilling caused oily matter to spread with the rain and contaminate both the groundwater and open sea. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Heroes make for the best stories. He's got the goo glide functional. You'll have a pull hook and a salvage net, but no armor, and an engine strong enough to break through the thick goo further out. There are lots of valuables left behind on the surf floor that the salvage net will enable you to haul. You just need to find the right spots. Goop says Gizmo's devised a cannon for the goo glide, but instead of bullets, it flips quacks, squeaky distractions for the triple attentive Porkypuff, which will give you time to get yourself in position. The best way to find quacks is to talk to Gulp. He has the bearings of the SURFIPELAGO and knows where the quacks like to float. This means you'll have the privilege of visiting Gulp in the Sinky Dink. He'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find quacks. That's where he bobs. Gulp refuses to move from that barge, despite the fact it makes him berth. Goop's not sure, though, if it's the surf sickness or the radium syrup that causes it. The world is waking up with dawn. You're poking around POKBURR, a prime village. Energy on top. Not much left of that one. Says the tribe's Sifu isn't sure how long the village will last if it continues. As if the plague ruining the land and destroying the crops wasn't enough to bring the village to its knees already. That's what they call the blight that's been haunting the land since the old world ended in the apocalypse. The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. Wonders why you can't see how pointless all your efforts are. Understands you have. The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. They need your protection and help to... The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must... Says talking to you was interesting. The dark time's finishing for now. Let's see. Has no doubt you've earned the trust and support of this village. Is always willing to listen. You did good here. Understands complete. No more goo glue. This here is the Sinky Dink, home of Gulp, at the very least.
Ja.
Let's see. He's pretty sure he's heard of you before, although the details are maybe a little hazy. He wonders if you have something for him to drink. Points out that he's hungry too, but always thirsty for more. Says you look like you've got a powerful thirst to do something in this world. Good, bad, not really sure, but it seems like you've been drinking. Wonders if you could take the time to help a man slake his own thirst. You'd be doing. Either way, he hopes you find a way to wet your whistle before the world comes to an awful dry end and leaves. Says life's like a mystery drink. Sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes it's awful. But either way, you can't stop drinking till you're dead. Sure, that's the point. But you can't stop trying new ones. Wants to raise a glass to you getting the world fixed up a bit. Respects how you always try to help. No. Sees why you joined up with the Myriad. They like a peaceful drink, just like you. Says he sells them drinks. They mostly suck them down on their own. But who cares about them? Says you'd be as bummed out as him if you came for the hot stuff. The Glugmocker, Nimhimbibble, and his favourite radium syrup. That one's even more intoxicating now. Without a drink, and radium syrup especially, he can't move, much less think, as the power of his mind is directly proportioned to the quantity of syrup he swigs. The drink helps him forget the state the world is in, but it only lasts until tomorrow. The world is still doomed, even if the sun goes up. Figures the real problem is finding something to do. He wants you to know he has other interests too. He's the SURFIPELAGO's self-proclaimed ornithologist, for example.
Galewanginut.
There are other ways than a cold drink to relieve stress, even in... Watching Pippi's flap is calming, but better yet are the ones you can look at and touch, like quacks. Squeezing them is a... They're better at floating than flapping, so you should be able to net a few without growing yourself a pair of wings. There's no better way for the waves. Feels like something's about to happen today. The Quack Hollow. It's just loonly. Lockety-locked. Oh, it's locked. Nothing's more important right now than this. Just what you were looking for. Pull the trigger and hope for the best. That's an odd thing, don't you think? Need a key. You need to line up the switches so they match. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Time to over the goo. It's so vibrant out during daylight. That's enough quacks to sustain the Googlide flipper with infinite ammunition. Goop says he was there when the Porky Puff took Out-of-Date's leg, so this World Eater has made it personal. After that, Out of Date started using his head instead of his legs and came up with the plan on how to best make a stand against the World Eaters, and it wasn't by foot. He seems happy to talk. Steel yourself for the Porkypuff. Says goodbye to you. He seems happy to talk. Says you covered the important things.